Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine.
The first thing I see is just a mysterious man standing way too close to me talking about a bunch of things I don't know anything about. And then he just left me on a train with nothing. Except for Solid Snake? Well, I accepted that I now had to spend the foreseeable future with him, so I had to know if he was someone I could trust. And I think it was shown quite quickly that I could, because as soon as we got out of the train, both of us started throwing things at the guard that was inspecting the luggage. I immediately knew that we were now best friends. We continued to throw things at the guard until it started chasing me, because then I stopped. I then decided that I wasn't really feeling like being oppressed any longer, so it was time to get out of here, so I started stacking other people's luggage. I continued making this staircase until I took a step back and realized that this was not going to work, so it was probably just better to use the actual entrance instead. We then went through this wired fence where I found more suitcases and I started playing with one of them. I had a really great time, but then this guard came and ruined everything. I punished the guard by punching it in the head several times with no effect. The guard then showed us to his room, but no room in this world could stop me from punishing this guard. Then all of a sudden the guard face revealed, and it was
Barney from Black Mesa,
who we had apparently known prior to being captured by the mysterious man who was talking to us in the beginning. Barney then told me in Snake that these guards were called the Combine and they had taken over the Earth while we were gone. He also said that before we were captured by the mysterious man, we had done something good, so they thought that now we could save the world or something. So I guess that is what we had to do. And Barney also continuously addressed us both as Gordon. He even called the scientist on the TV, and he also did. So I guess we're also called Gordon now. But while Barney and the scientist were talking about all of this nonsense, we tried to balance as much stuff as we could on Barney's head, because that was so much more interesting. We were then finally let out of the room, but Snake is apparently an idiot because he couldn't get past the lamp on the floor. But then I proved to be an idiot as well, because I didn't know how to place boxes in front of a window. Luckily, Snake figured it out and we were allowed to jump from a window down on the ground. From there we came to this corridor where this Combine was standing menacingly by a gate. I walked up to the guard and it threw a tin can on the ground. And now I had a very important decision to make. But then Snake came and ruined everything! I got scared when the Combine hit me, so I threw the can in the trash and he allowed us to pass. But then he didn't move, so Snake started provoking the guard to the point where he punched me 50 meters in the air! But then I was able to get past, and as we walked, I found something. Something that means a lot to a lot of people. A bottle of pee. We decided that saving the world can wait, and this bottle was now our #1 priority. But now it was time to leave this building, so we opened the doors to the outside and saw the town square of City 17. But that was of no importance to us since we had a piss bottle to take care of. We walked with our bottle and saw a lot of frightening things, like this Combine guard blocking this door to what seemed to be a very brutal dentist appointment. We continued walking and came to these two identical men standing and complaining about the fact that the Combine searched through buildings without any real motive. I started to get a feeling of unease until we saw this sick playground. I tried to use the swing, but I wasn't very good at it. But then I saw this baby and decided to play with that instead. The baby wanted to play with these triangles, but Solid Snake also wanted to do it. He was very clearly happy about the experience that we were having, as you can see from his smile and the fact that he had gone blind. We then started spinning this spin thing, and Snake wanted it to go faster. But we couldn't play all day because we had a mission to find a safe place for this piss bottle, so it was time to enter this apartment building where we saw a good example of Combine searching through people's homes. I was of course not for it, and I showed this by throwing this shoe at them. Or more like 20 meters away from them, but who keeps count honestly. But then, it was our time to search through people's homes as well. I mean, if Snake could stop blocking me, Snake then stopped blocking me, so I threw this paint bucket at this person. Then Snake threw the TV out their window, so I threw the TV table out the window. Then we decided to help them by throwing out everything they had. The Combine didn't seem to like us taking their jobs, so they started coming after us, so we ran into this other apartment where I accidentally dropped the pee bottle, and in a desperate attempt to save it, the Combine killed me! And Snake unfortunately met the same fate. Luckily though, this is not hardcore, so we were back at it again, and this time we ran through the apartment much quicker. But as soon as we came out of the apartment, the Combine came up the stairs, forcing us up on the roof of the building. But here they couldn't follow us. We could calm down, we were alive, and most importantly, we had the pee bottle. Oh no! Luckily for us, I was able to catch it with my immense gaming skills. So now we just had to be very careful while walking on this ledge of the buildings until we got inside again. We got to these windows and I did an epic trick shot. But then we were ambushed by Combine guards, so we blacked out. But someone was there to save us. This woman here was apparently called Alex and worked with Barney and the scientists, so she was now going to show us to their lab. We were super relieved, but then Alex broke and just stood there. So we had to restart the level.
Restore.
But now we were prepared for everything that could happen.
Pissbåten, kan köra.
So I once again used my immense gaming skill to stop the bottle from falling down. So then we walked all the way back, and this time Alex did not break, so she took us to the elevator and then she opened this secret door that led us all the way to this vending machine. She offered us to buy a drink, and who could decline that offer? But she faked it! The vending machine was actually just a boring secret door to a secret lab. I was very disappointed, so I refused to go inside, but Snake convinced me with the piss bottle, so I just went in. But here we actually found something cool, like this small teleporter that could teleport the piss bottle 1 meter to the left. Like that's really far if you're an ant. We continued to teleport the bottle until it got stuck behind this bar, so I jumped up the teleporter and tried to get it loose, but Snake, while helping to get the bottle loose, accidentally activated the teleporter when I was standing on it, and this happened. I didn't know what to do, so I looked around, walked into the water, tried to grab this soda, but then I was teleported back. Weird. We then looked around the lab some more and found very odd things.
How important this information is, right down in the recycling bin.
I also noticed while I had been gone, Barney had made it here. So now Alex, Barney, and the scientist who was called Kleiner were talking about things, but neither me or Snake listened. Barney then opened this door where a tiny monster thing attacked him. This was a head crab, but apparently this one was tame. But Kleiner said that if we would encounter these anywhere else, they would probably kill us. But the more important thing in this room was this hazardous environment suit, or HEV suit, which they had made for us. This suit gave us many benefits. It allowed us to regenerate health, it gave us suit protection, and we were now also able to run. Because to be able to run, you need to wear a super heavy suit. That is just scientifically proven. Snake seemed to have the time of his life. He was shaking with excitement. But I was more intrigued by this water.
Det är piss.
I refilled the piss bottle and Kleiner then led us into this teleporter room. He was going to send Alex and us to Eli's lab for some reason that we didn't care to listen to. So we sent Alex away. Or he tried, but the teleporter broke and we helped. But now it was our turn, and going from how well the previous teleport went, this would probably just go flawlessly. Bruh. We were teleported to random locations, one of them being the head office of the Combine, so now the human leader of the Combine, Dr. Breen, was aware that we existed, which would make our life a lot harder. But another thing we noticed is that the mysterious man that took us to this world in the first place was standing right next to him. As soon as we got out of the teleporter, we realized that the pee bottle was still inside the lab. But there was also city scanners taking photos of us, so we had to run away. So we ran until Barney stopped us. He told us how we could make it to Eli's lab by foot, but he also showed us that the big building, the Citadel, was at full alert because of Gordon Freeman. But I still don't know why, because neither of us is Gordon Freeman, but sure. Barney then gave us the best weapon known to man.
Good luck out there, buddy. It's the battle hoe, va?
I meant the crowbar. So I guess our goal was now to save the world. So we had to run through this train parking place while the Combine guards were shooting at us, and I wasn't afraid at all. I then tried to defend myself with this explosive barrel, and it went extremely well. I got a total of 0 people. We went down these stairs, then we saw some oppression, and Snake wasn't supportive of that, so neither was I. We then made sure that these Combine guards knew that we wanted them to stop.
Stop it! Don't allow
Stop
doing
it.
it! Dumb and stupid. Are you punching the wrong person? Yeah, great.
I then found this other guard and stole this gun, but I decided not to use it since Snake was doing such a good job. We then waited for the train to get past this gap. We eventually got here where the Combine rolled an explosive barrel that I used against them. We walked through this place while shooting a bunch of Combine, and we eventually got out on the other side of the blue barrier. We then decided to jump down into the water below. We swam and found this person in this Vortigaunt living inside this container. They told us to continue and look out for barnacles, but why would sea creatures that live on the underside of a boat be of any harm on land?
Oh no!
So those things are barnacles. We then continued walking. We found this guy and I punched this radio. We shot a lot of Combine, we walked some more and totally legitimately got stuck in more barnacles. And then we heard a voice coming from somewhere where I couldn't locate. We then saw some explosions, we healed each other and we came to this place with a lot of barnacles. I killed one with my stun stick and then we decided to use these barrels to kill them, and one could say that it was quite effective. I also wanted to try it, but it didn't go so well. We then glided down this slope to find a physics puzzle. We had to place these cinder blocks on one side of this plank to be able to jump from the other side onto this ledge. I then found items that I wanted. We then came to this place and I walked in here to get some health, and then all of a sudden an explosive barrel was in my face. I decided to use this barrel as a weapon against barnacles. We eventually found a person living here in the sewers. I tried to catch him in this blue basket, but it didn't work, so we decided to steal all of his belongings. But then the combined drones called Manax came and tried to ruin our day. But we were just better than them, so we killed them all, and as a thanks, the dude gave us his iron pipe. He probably did not realize we stole everything else he owned, but who really cares? So now we went on and broke everything in our way with our new pipes. We eventually came to this corridor where everything was about to blow up, but because I'm smart, I moved back so I was too far away from the danger to take any damage. What? Well, we continued on through these catacomb-looking tunnels until we came to this hole, and there we saw him, the mysterious man, on the other side of the gap. He just stood there, watching, so we decided to shoot him in the face, but nothing happened to him. Then this mana came up from behind and the mysterious man was gone. So we went on inside this vent and found a bunch of things and a new gun. As we came out of the vent again, the Combine had found our location and started shooting at us. We were able to fight them off, but then we went into this little section here because we saw that there were items there. But when Snake got to the end, he found something very strange. It was half a person with a head crab attached to his head. We were able to kill it, and we both now understood why those creatures are called head crabs. We had been told that there were a lot of them out there, but not that they turned humans into zombies. Anyways, we went on and came to this water turbine where we had to swim down an underwater tunnel to come here. We barely had time to catch our breath until the Combine caught up to us again. We fought off the Combine with barely any health left. We decided to follow this large tube that seemed to be harmless until hot gas came out of it, killing Snake. I was able to avoid the gas, but not the barnacle hanging just beside it. But we continued on into this vent where we could hear that there were a lot of Manax waiting for us. But we broke the vent and anticipated a fight, but instead we were met with a lot of explosive barrels. Luckily they didn't blow up. Snake died, so now I had to fight all this on my own. That was easy. And now we were stuck here, so to get out of this place we had to find and twist this valve to make the water level rise so we could use these wooden objects to balance on top and to jump up here. We then kept on walking for what felt like an eternity without anything happening. But then the piss bottle had followed us all the way here, and we were finally united again. But then we arrived at this checkpoint, and according to this guy, we did so at a very bad time. He talked about how they were being attacked by head crabs at this very moment, and Snake seemed to agree with everything he was saying. He told us to try and get through the chaos anyways, and on the other side there would be speedboats waiting for us. So we crawled through, and I didn't really understand what he meant by chaos. Oh, we started shooting, but then I wanted to leave, but this head crab jumped me, so I had to punch it dead. I then witnessed a person turning into a zombie, and I decided that I didn't want to fight anymore, so I just ran through everything and I didn't get stuck anywhere. And then I did not run straight into acid water either. But then luckily me and the piss bottle were safe, so we went to where the speedboats were. Snake might also be safe, I'm not really sure. As soon as I got into the room, I immediately started hitting the person refueling the boats because she hadn't thought of a way for us to bring the piss bottle. I mean, the least a person could do for another person is make sure that they can bring their piss bottle, but not these people apparently. So we had to say our goodbyes to the bottle and we continued on our journey. Even though we were sad that we had to part ways with our piss bottle, it was now the first time in forever that we had a bit of a breeze. There was no one hunting us, no one shooting after us, and there wasn't a creature that was trying to pair with our head. We came to this place where we had to put these blue barrels in a basket for us to jump this gap, but still no interference from the Combine. Oh no! The Combine were now aware of our whereabouts, and they closed the river so we couldn't get past. So now I had to reverse back and enter the building that was controlling these doors. The first thing we saw when entering this building was a TV broadcast of the Combine leader Breen talking about us and how dangerous we were to the world that they had built. He talked our free will as a disease in that it was dangerous and shouldn't be a thing.
Dangerous poetic labels as the one free man.
I mean, it sounds poetic, but Snake wasn't interested at all, so we left, and I couldn't see a door, so I made my own one. After that message, we started to realize a lot of the dark secrets that the Combine withheld from the population, and the constant brainwashing they crammed into their heads. Like this man here had probably not been here for a dentist appointment, so we started to take things a lot more seriously.
This man has been tortured, and he is also a victim of torture.
Or maybe not so much. But then the super serious tone was interrupted by the Combine. I decided to throw a grenade at the Combine with great success. I healed up and went out again, and this time a bit more successful. We went inside this other building and killed all of the Combine inside so that we could go outside this other door where we found the valve that controlled these doors that closed the waterway, but it was broken, so in rage we saw that these barrels that made all of this metal junk swing down and break the doors instead. Now we headed back and all of a sudden there were new people here, but we didn't have time for them because we had a boat to catch. Now the path wasn't as calm and easy as before. There were Combine around every corner. They even had new machines that sent out target-seeking missiles, and they also had burning walls water somehow. But when we got past all that, we reached another set of closed doors. We had to go through another Combine base. That went by quickly though and did not take 30 minutes in real time at all. As soon as we left this second stop, the Combine stepped up their game by sending another set of helicopters, but these ones pooped out bombs in front of us. But unfortunately for them, we are boat steering pros and we were able to avoid all of them with ease. So they sent another one with a machine gun on it. But the story was very similar here. Everything was going great for us, but then they sent down missiles from the sky. But we luckily got past this too. Now we just had to make it into this tunnel. And in this tunnel there was a boat depot where resistance members attached a gun to our boats we were now able to shoot. So they let us leave and we started to wreak havoc immediately. The things that prior had shook us to our boots was now nothing but a speck of dust on our shoe soles. We teared through everything in our way. At least until we came to this place where we had to fight 2 overpowered helicopters pooping bombs and shooting at us at the same time. Or they weren't really shooting me, but they were shooting Snake. But I decided to shoot at them, and we were able to quickly get one of them down. The other one was harder though, it even killed me, but then Snake was able to eliminate the other one, which allowed us to go up here and then open another gate so we could jump through this hole.
Yeah.
Now we came to a dead end, so we decided to get out of the boats and walk inside this building here to see if there was anything of interest. We then entered this room where the doors closed. It got dark, it got bright, and then it scanned us, and a thing slided open and we could see a woman talking to us. And right behind her was the mysterious man again. The woman then addressed us as Gordon Freeman while continuing to scan us with various equipment. She then said that Eli was going to be happy, which only could mean that we had made it to Eli's lab. The woman then told us that she was called Judith Mossman and then showed us inside the building. But we didn't want to be showed around, so we tried to block her with this box and this barrel, but it didn't work. We then did the same thing with the elevator and it worked. But as soon as I jumped in the elevator, she pushed through the barricade and got in. When going down the elevator, we saw a bunch of people and Vortigons working on various things while Mossman was talking to us about something. We didn't really listen. Eventually we made it down to Eli. As soon as we got down, we looked around the lab and saw a funny cat picture, someone's Microsoft Paint drawing, this potato and this parcel that I wanted to steal. Then Eli had something very, very important to tell us.
Scientist Judith. She was up for your job at Black Mesa, but you edged her out with your Innsbruck experience.
Var det allt han skulle säga?
But then finally Alex came out of these doors, so we took our chance at escaping. And as soon as we got out, we saw the mysterious man again. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to him, so we had to walk back inside, and Eli talked to us and showed us this glowing stone that he had found. Super impressive, Eli. Good work. Then Mossman came out again, and she and Alex started fighting, so we continued to do other things. But finally, she opened the doors and told us to follow. We then walked by this dark corridor that led to a scare place called Raven something. Alex told us that they don't go down there anymore because something bad had happened there. And luckily for us, nothing will happen that makes us forced to go in there anyways. Haha, that would be super unfortunate and will not happen at all. But instead of going in there, we went to the backyard of the lab where Alex gave us this 0-point energy field manipulator. This thing that we decided to call the gravity gun was super useful. With it, we were able to pick up stuff and then throw that stuff, or pick up stuff and then put that stuff back on the ground again. So the first logical thing to test when you get something like this is of course to try and kill each other, so that is what we did. We then were told to go out even further and we saw the mysterious man again. And since we had seen him so many times here already, we thought the only logical thing is that he lives here. And since this tube seemed kinda uncomfortable, we decided to take this mattress and throw it to him so we could sleep well. After that, Alex showed us her cute robot dog. Then she asked it to kill us. But we had a 0-point energy field manipulator, so it was impossible. But dog got so angry that it tried to kill us with this rock instead. Then it threw this weird ball thing at us, but lastly it got so mad that it tried to kill me with a trash container, but it missed. But now somehow the Combine had found us, so we had to flee back into Eli's lab, but it broke. Like a lot. So the door broke and Alex ran away from us, so we tried to keep up, but the ceiling came down on us. So now we were separated from Alex and the only other way out was through Raven something. Oh, how unfortunate and not at all obvious. So we walked through the dark corridor and came to this water and then a very, very long ladder that took us to the place where not even Alex would go. The fear started setting in.
Hey guy har varit här.
But then we saw that, so now we weren't that scared anymore. We exited out and found this sign. It was called Ravenholm. Aha! Just in case we forgot the name of this town, we decided to bring this sign for the rest of the trip. But the sign wasn't only good at telling us our location, it also worked great as a weapon. And it was also very good at removing planks. Okay, maybe not so good at removing planks, but it was a great weapon. Now we also started to realize why this place wasn't very popular amongst tourists. I mean, the interior design of these buildings was just awful. and it was also full of zombies. I then found this spinning thing and I thought it was my friend, but oh! No, it probably was not. But then it killed 2 of the zombies, so it probably was. Oh, saw blade in my face. Maybe it wasn't my friend. But then I decided to give it the benefit of the doubt, and it seemed to like me now, and oh! After dying a bunch, I killed some zombies with my stun stick, and then we heard a voice and saw this man. We tried to get up to him by fighting our way through this building, and it was going really well. We finally made it to where he was, and look, there he is. Ah! No, that is not him. This is some super weird big monster zombie thing that is hard to kill. Well, not for me though. I then pulled this random lever and it broke, but who cares? We quickly went outside again and tried to get out of here, but then we heard a man again. But they didn't have time to listen because I had a Ravenholm sign to try and bring everywhere. It was really easy though. Oh my god, work instead. Oh yes, oh no. We got out and found this trap. So it was time to climb the cars and find the dude. But he was just sitting there. Then he finally stood up and told us he was called Father Gregory and he was kind of the owner of this town. But then it was time to walk for a bit and kill for a bit and also walk for a bit only for us to find Gregory again. But now he gave us a new gun. But I already have the Ravenholm sign, so I don't need anything else. But then I accidentally dropped the sign down here and all these new and improved zombies came up the chute and started hitting me, so I had to use another gun and it was going very well. But I started using the shotgun just so I wouldn't die. I started using the rifle just so I wouldn't die, but then we took the elevator down and grabbed the Ravenholm sign and ran away in a hurry. Then we grabbed the Ravenholm sign and ran away in a hurry without dying. Now we made it to this place that my friend liked to call the arena for some reason. Here I had to activate this sliding elevator thing and then fight millions and billions of zombies, but it was super easy and I wasn't even close to dying once. Oh. But then it was time to jump on the sliding elevator thing, but it seemed to be impossible. But I decided to go for it, but I failed. I got the sign up and now it was going to be much easier to jump over. Oh god. I jumped over and stuck the landing on my first try because I'm just that good. But now I had to get the sign over this gap and into this tiny window, which wasn't the easiest thing. But then I finally made it and we could continue and kill more zombies and also continue and walk for a very long time until we made it on top of this roof where Gregory told us that he would send over a cart. While waiting for the cart, we had to guard ourselves because there were a lot of zombies coming for us. Or at least they were coming for Snake because my chute was super empty the entire time. The cart then started coming over, but that only attracted even more zombies to our location. Well, still not my location, but Snake's location. But then finally the cart arrived, so me, Snake, and the Ravenholm sign could get over. When we got over, Gregory gave us items and told us all about his traps and his constructions. He also said that he was going to show us the only other way out of this place. So we followed him to a graveyard maze thing full of zombies. But since me and Snake are both professionals now at killing zombies, it was not hard at all. It wasn't hard at all since we had these explosive barrels that we were really good at throwing. After a while we thought that Gregory had taken too long of a time to get through the maze, but after 5 minutes he finally made it to the end where he opened the gate to let us in. We had now made it through Ravenholm, and we were both surprised about the fact that we had brought the Ravenholm sign with us all the way. Now though, we had to go through the mines. So I sent down the sign and it was now my turn to see how I could get down there, so I walked over here and that was totally intentional. I then continued further down and made it to this platform that I immediately jumped off. This place was crawling with fast head crabs and my health was going down quickly. But luckily there were explosive barrels close by, so I was able to fend off most of them before Snake got down and helped me with the very last one. After fighting the head crabs, it was time to get out of this place and finally leave the zombie infested lands. But here the mysterious man was again. He was so close that I knew that I could get to him, so I quickly jumped on this plank and over to where he was standing, but an invisible force pushed me back into the water. Now we were down here, so now I had to swim with the Ravenholm sign, which wasn't that hard actually, but it didn't take long until we cleared the water and made it to this minecart rail where we found this minecart equipped with one of those spinning killing things. So we did the most logical thing, which was to turn it on and then try and walk behind it without getting hit and killed by it. The path upwards was filled with zombies, but they were none of our concern because the minecart took care of them. We then reached the top and we could see the light of day at the end of the tunnel. Both me, Snake, and the sign were very happy to have made it out of Ravenholm and its mines, and we were really looking forward to a much calmer rest of the trip. We encountered one zombie that we killed instantly, but that wasn't going to ruin our mood. Something that could ruin our mood though was this combined sniper that was shooting at us, but it was no match for my grenades. But that wasn't the only one. But since I had the Ravenholm sign, there was nothing to be afraid of. We now had to get past this mess where I threw the sign further ahead, but then we got to the other side and it was no longer there. Ow! It got stuck on this train and the combine shot it down. How nice! Snake repaid the combine by killing it. Or me! Then we came here where we had to get past this fence, but there were billions of combines shooting at us. But now we were actually professionals, so we got through without being killed by anyone at all. Oh, stupid turret, you ruined my entire life! After throwing the turret to the place where Team Rocket goes every Pokemon episode, we walked inside this building where there were more Combine, but they were no match for me. After killing them, we found out that apparently there were also Resistance members here that had contact with Alex, and she was happy to see us. Alex told us that Eli had been taken to Nova Prospect by the Combine. She also said that we had to go there and find him, and she would meet us there. But we didn't really care because we heard that someone was preparing a car for us outside, so we got out. But then I wanted to get back inside and get the Ravenholm sign, but that locked us out. So the sign was no longer in our possession, which made life a lot harder. But I did not have time to sit and ponder about that, because now these people told me to jump in this car, which I did, and then they picked me up with this massive magnet and then dropped me in bug-infested sands upside down.
Nice, Blakeman, nice.
I killed the bugs that they called antlions and got back into my car. Snake wouldn't fit in the car, so I told him to walk for a bit until we found a way to solve it. We wanted to go up this hill, so Snake walked and I jumped over this gap, and then we came here. We tried to come up with a way for him to fit in the car when we found this other car standing here. So we tried to see if it worked, and it did! So Snake hopped in the back and we drove through the tunnel. We got out on the other side, but the road just ended. But it didn't matter. We continued on our journey anyways until we came to this house where we found this jello broken Toyota, and we decided to go with that car instead. We drove to this other house where a Combine was looking through a window and it didn't notice us. So we started placing things on its head and it didn't realize. But then it did, so we had to shoot. But now I wanted to see what was so interesting, and I saw a resistance base and the mysterious man. Snake also wanted to see, but it didn't work for him, so I took a second look until it wasn't fun anymore, and then I tried to exit the telescope, but I was somehow stuck in it. So now I had to restart. But it was actually good, because we found another Toyota, which meant that we could have one Toyota each. So we drove all the way to where the other one was, and we were now both very happy with our new cars, and nothing could bring us down. Oh no. At least I had mine. Oh. Let's just redo that. Now we both had Toyotas, so we drove through the sand dunes with claws. We eventually made it to another resistance outpost where they wouldn't let us pass unless we helped them shoot down a Combine helicopter with this RPG. So we did, and it went great. So we went back down and the man told us that he would open the gate, but we had to go to another outpost that had been silent on the radio for a while. So without a choice, we accepted and drove to the gate, and I accidentally ran over the guy who was supposed to open the gate. And then this Vortigaunt ran over to me and started healing me as a thank you or something. But because we literally couldn't go through the gate now, we had to redo the entire thing again. But this time I didn't run over the guy who opened the gates, at least not before the gates were opened. I also accidentally killed this medic. After that we came to another port with a crane, but this one was filled with Combine. So we tried to fool them that we were FedEx drivers.
We have a package for Combine.
But judging by their welcome, I would argue that they saw through our lies. So we killed them all and used this crane to take this container to also kill them. But then Snake wanted to try and it went very well. Oh no! I then used the crane to pick up the cars and put them here so we were able to get back on the road. But to get back on the road, we had to jump through this window and across this broken bridge while running away from a helicopter. And with the adrenaline from that running through our veins, there was literally nothing that could stop us anymore. I was feeling like I could go on forever and ever and ever and whoa. I guess that was just me being unlucky. There were a Combine here that we had to shoot and it went very well. After these deaths, we started doing a bit better again. So we drove here and there were more Combine waiting, so I jumped out of the car and wait, what? We respawned and got back and then, what? But Snake was fine. Oh. At least now nothing could screw me over. Snake! I made it. It seems like these balls really don't like me that much. Oh god! I finally made it a bit further and was... Now it was time to finally make it, but then these balls! At least I was alive, but bruh! No, it can't get much worse. Could we maybe make it this time, though? This time, though, it was looking really dark, but then I actually didn't slip into the water. I even got by the house and made it to the roadblock where I was killed again. And again. But then I actually survived. We had actually survived and we could actually progress again. It only took us 40 minutes to get past this section, but then we realized that the game was glitched and things didn't spawn in, so we had to restart anyways. But now, this time, we actually made it. And the things had spawned in. We could actually, finally, progress for real. We eventually got to this big bridge that was blocked by a blue light barrier. We didn't know how to turn it off, but our best guess was to follow the bridge by foot until we found something that looked like a power switch or something. So we decided to go below the bridge to skip all the Combine guarding it, and luckily for us, it was actually possible to pass through this way. We made it to the end of the bridge where a lot of Combine were hanging out, so we both thought that we were probably at the right place. We cautiously took out the Combine and made it to this room that was protected by two guards up that it was also protected by a turret and the same blue barrier. So I quickly ran inside the room and tried to reach the plug, but I couldn't, so I took this barrel to protect myself from the turret. I then used my RPG to pull the plug out, which allowed us to click this button that hopefully turned off the blue barrier all the way back over there. Now though, we had to make it all the way back while a helicopter was chasing us, but it was really easy. When we got back to the other side, Snake started driving in the wrong direction, but he realized soon enough, so he turned around, but when he came back he had found another person who apparently was going to join us for the rest of the journey. Wait, what? Well, I guess this rebel guy was now part of the team, so we set off towards the other side of the bridge, but about halfway through we could hear a train coming straight at us. The rebel guy's car was much faster, so he just disappeared in the mist, but out of the mist came a train and we could not escape. Both me and Snake were both falling to our impending dooms, but I survived somehow. But then I died. But now I think it's time to introduce our newest member of the team, Ludemec, that we are just going to call Mech. He had apparently followed us since Ravenholm and he really wanted to tag along on the journey to defeat the Combine, and we didn't have anything better to do, so we just allowed him to join. So now we drove as a team of 3. We drove to this lighthouse where we once again had to help the resistance members fight off waves of Combine and these helicopters, and it was going really well. Us 3 as a team was a force to be reckoned with, and the Combine really had no chance against us. When we were finished with that, we noticed that the boats were extremely easily affected by the gravity guns. I mean, we could literally push Snake outside the boundaries of the world. Both me and Mech went down there as well just to see how it was like, and it was a very special experience to say the least. Then it was time to leave this place, so we left through the secret exit on the lighthouse and walked on this ledge. We then continued walking for a while and we eventually came to this place where a Vortigaunt gave us these squishy balls. These balls would apparently allow us to control the antlions. We were extremely nice to our new bug pals, as you can clearly see here. But now it was time to leave and use the antlions to our advantage. We first had to turn these sandhammers off because they scare antlions away. Turning off these things meant that we were basically unstoppable when fighting the Combine. It was almost going really well, but then it was actually going really well for all 3 of us. We really wiped these outposts one after one and made it to this bunker that led us to this open field where there were hundreds of Combine. Luckily for us though, there was a mounted machine gun here that we could use, so it was really no problem. We cleared out all of them. Then we walked all the way to this campfire where we found a path that led us up this cliff that then led us to Nova Prospect. Here there were Combine shooting at us, but it wasn't really a problem for us. But then a zombie came and pushed me down the cliff that we had just climbed up. But now we had made it to Nova Prospect. Before the Combine came, this had apparently been a prison, but everyone said that now something much worse was going on in there. But before we got in, we had to defeat a lot of Combine that were guarding the outside, but also another helicopter. But when that was done, we were able to enter. We first had to turn off the gas to let the fire out. We then entered Nova Prospect and the building was full of Combine, but we had fought so many of them that it was no problem for us anymore. We defeated most of the enemies and walked into a much bigger part where we encountered Mossman again, because apparently she was here. Then we also realized that Alex was also supposed to be here, but it's bugged and she was invisible somehow. But now we had finally found Eli, who was floating outside the capsule they were supposed to be inside. And nope, he was inside it all along. Well, the Combine also had a teleporter very similar to the one Kleiner had, and we were going to use it to get back to Kleiner, but for some reason Mossman was a traitor and just stole Eli. So now we had to reactivate the teleporter while protecting ourselves and an invisible Alex with turrets. So we set up the turrets and the Combine came and it was going really well. We held them back really good until we weren't anymore, so we died and had to redo it again. So now I had to set it all up one more time, but this time it was looking a lot more promising. We were able to place the turrets in a way that made them not fall over, and all 3 of us were just shooting better overall. The teleporter was getting closer and closer to being done, so we were fending off the Combine very well, and then the teleporter arrived. So now we all had to run to it and survive the last seconds before it started to rise up. We held our place and after 10 seconds the teleporter started going up, but the Combine were still shooting at it, so it seemed like it was going to break, but it actually worked. We could finally see Alex and we were back in Kleiner's lab, but Snake was not here with us. But Kleiner interrupted us by opening the door, telling us that we had apparently been gone for a whole week. But Kleiner also told us that during our time away we had inspired the resistance to start taking action. But now we had to join again and help them get inside the citadel, which is the massive tower in the middle of the city. So we walked outside and it looked very different since the last time we were here. We walked through the broken buildings and made it to the playground where me and Snake played only a couple of days ago. Now it was broken and destroyed. But the playground wasn't the only thing that was destroyed. The entire city had been made smaller by these big walls, so the place was almost not recognizable. We made it to the square when a bunch of Combine swarmed us. We eliminated them and made it to this place where a new type of landmine was placed everywhere. We had to be very careful not to accidentally step on these. So we continued on and found some more landmines that I avoided. We continued fighting the uncountable amount of Combine, and then when I was just catching my breath, Snake came out of nowhere. It was so great to have him back here. Snake had apparently not been stuck in the teleporter, so he had been here for an entire week, already causing all sorts of problems for the Combine. He also showed me this watermelon. Then we continued on even more and fought more Combine while trying to find our way to the Citadel to stop everything. We fought and fought, and then me and Mech made it down to this water-filled basement without Solid Snake. But we could easily replace him because there was this dude here just laying on the ground screaming. By doing this, he attracted a bunch of zombies that we had to kill, but we easily did and went on. We walked up the stairs where there were even more zombies, but also a bunch of Combine snipers. We took out all the zombies and all the Combine snipers and walked up another flight of stairs, and there was Barney for some reason. We had to save him from the snipers, but I died instead. So I ran to quickly help him, but then he was just standing there and then he walked away. So we followed him to this gate that he opened that eventually led us to this building where you could see the Citadel and a ton of Combine, and Mech wanted to shoot them, but yeah, Barney then let me and Mech out and told us that we had to get inside of that building. So we walked outside on the street where we were shot by a big light beam coming down from the sky. I tried to flee into this building, but there was a bunch of guards waiting for me, so I hid and everything seemed hopeless. But look who decided to turn up and save me. Solid Snake was back! So now it was finally time to enter the Citadel, and it was going to be super easy. Oh, what? It actually wasn't so hard when I didn't die. But after defeating them, I questioned how the Combine came out of the doors when there were big metal chunks blocking it. But when we were doing that, we saw the armor of a Combine who had been left behind, so we decided to try and shoot it. But now we had to enter the building, so we did. We were told that what we had to do in here was to throw out these 3 energy balls out of their canisters. The first one was very easy to get, and the second one seemed to be very easy as well. At least it seemed easy before I had to sneakily walk through this room filled with tripwires activating a turret in the ceiling. It was actually going really well until Snake stepped on a laser which made the turret start shooting at me. But I was so close to the exit that I got past, and therefore I could go to the next energy ball. To find the third one, we had to go through the building again until we came to this room where both doors closed, which made us stuck inside. Then tons of Combine came and tried to kill us from the outside, and it almost worked. But we stayed alive, so they actually broke open the door, but we were prepared. We went through the now opened door and found the final energy ball. Now we had to get out, so we went all the way back to where we came from, but there was a Strider waiting for us. We quickly entered the Strider and went on. Barney then told us that we now had to go inside the big tall tower to take out Breen and close the portal that allowed the aliens to get here. So now we just had to shoot and walk, and it was going really well. That is at least until this happened. A resistance rebel was sitting right where we were supposed to go, and he wouldn't move. We tried everything, literally everything, to get him to move or to get us to squish past, but it was impossible to get past. What? Wait. After that roadblock, we continued on our epic journey to get to the final destination. All of us were running and fighting like crazy. Our health was low, but our morale was high. Or something, I don't really know. We were eventually able to clear most of the Combine and Striders in our way, which allowed Dog to rip open the wall and reveal a secret path underground. This tunnel led us to the bottom of this ginormous tower that is the Citadel. Now we just had to climb all the way up to Breen's office. Somehow. We entered and tried to traverse the ground that very clearly wasn't made to be walked on. We looked out so we didn't fall into these bottomless pits that were found everywhere. Eventually we made it to this glass bridge where these capsules were actually stopping. We didn't know what to do, but then I somehow got on a boat and drove straight into one, and I got caught by it and it started taking me around the Citadel. Both Mech and Snake hopped in capsules behind me. When riding these, we saw the inside of the Combine operation. There were people who had metal for limbs. We saw hundreds of capsules with people in them. We saw Striders walking. We saw the helicopters that we had been fighting being built. We saw trains, but all of a sudden the ride took a halt and we were dropped into this thing. There were big weird things on the walls that took our gravity guns and made them light blue instead of orange. We thought that the Combine knew that they were way too powerful, so they broke them, but they were somehow even more powerful now. Now there was literally nothing that could stop us. So now me, Snake and Mech wreaks havoc through the entire Citadel.
Säger du? Vi valde sjukt. Öld. Lägg!
Man gör suger åt sig dem.
We now encountered even more of these capsules, and since we already knew that there weren't any other options, we entered them. We had no idea where these would take us this time, but then we came to this camera and it started freaking out when it saw us, so we somehow knew that we were going to be sent up to Breen. We were rising up rapidly through the Citadel and we could see the town down way below us. The capsule then started to slow down and an epic reveal was about to take place. Or it might have been epic, but instead it looked like this. The Combine confiscated our gravity guns and Mossman showed us into Breen's office, but we really had no way to fight back because we were stuck in these capsules. Breen also showed us that not only did he have Eli captured, but Alex as well. We were stuck in this thing and Breen was making fun of us for giving us to him for free. He then sent Eli and Alex away to be executed. Everything that we had worked for was going to die with them.
I'm so sorry.
Go kill them.
I mean, no.
But then Mossman all of a sudden decided to turn on Breen. She turned the capsules off while Breen ran off with our gravity guns. Us and Alex now had to run quickly after Breen to try and stop him once and for all. We went up the elevator and ran after him, but he had us blocked by an energy field. Then he left, leaving the gravity guns behind. Alex got the field down and we picked up our guns. Breen fled, but we were right behind him. He had gone inside this bubble that we tried to destroy, but it didn't work. So we decided to put our focus towards destroying the portal that let the Combine into Earth. All we had to do is climb to the top and destroy it. Now this was it. Everything that had happened had led up to this moment. From just popping into a world very different from the one you remember, to finding friends in the piss bottle, the Ravenholm sign, Mech, and all the other semi-important characters. All we had to do now was to get up to the highest point of the tower, which was not the easiest of tasks. There were a lot of moving parts here, but instead of seeing them as obstacles, we utilized them to get to the top. Everything that we had learned before came into play now. If we messed this up, we might never have another chance at this. And then we were there, eye to eye with the thing that had caused all our troubles. And all we had to do now was to throw the energy balls at the protective layer outside it. So we did. We shot it piece by piece until there was nothing left. We finally killed it and it started to freak out and it looked like it was supposed to blow. Everything was going crazy. Mech accidentally fell down from the top and died, and then it blew, but just then time just slowed down. And there he was.
Is it really that time again? You've done a great deal in a small time span.
The people of the world were now free of the oppression of the Combine, but us, who had gotten them there, had lost the last trip of freedom that we had.